Hey, how's it going, everyone? Brad Smith here with HealthLink, and I am here with Kerin, owner of Haute Fitness Health. How are you today, Kerin?
It's Kerin, but no problem. I
Good.
usually get some form of my name. I'm good. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. And I was worried about the Haute Fitness Health
Yeah,
too.
I should have told you that beforehand. It's okay. Everyone, I've gotten Karina and Corinne and Karen. Well, no, my name is Corinne, but it's Karen, and you know, you get used to it. I start answering to anything at this point.
Well, I'm glad we got that covered now, even due to the technical difficulties before we jumped on. So,
Yeah,
yeah, thanks so much for joining me for the interview. I'm
thanks for
really
having
looking forward to getting to know more about you, your story, and about your business. But I know you specialize in weight loss, especially weight loss for women. So, if we have any women that have struggled with their weight, which is even men, I mean that's 95% of us, right?
me.
Just leave a comment yes in the comments below, and that way we can see that you guys are here watching. So, tell me a little bit about your backstory and what got you started in the health and fitness world.
Yeah, I'd love to. So originally I started because I think like so many other women, I was struggling with my weight since I was 13, except when I was 13, I wasn't overweight at all, but it was still that obsession that you're never skinny enough. And I remember even at that age, like already starting to basically starve myself and have like an apple and then start like monitoring how much you're eating and switch to Diet Coke, all those completely unhealthy things that I would never tell anyone to do right now.
This
And
is when you were 13?
yeah, because in high school, I mean, at least when I was in high school, kind of dating myself a little bit, but the cool thing to do was to be skinny and to not eat, especially during lunchtime for girls. And, that's just nobody ate back then. So I wasn't, I mean, I was like a double zero, but it was already like feeding into that mentality that I'm not skinny enough and I'm not, I need to lose more weight or I can't gain weight. So as the years went on, that's when my weight started going up and down. And it was a lot of, I'd put on 10 or 20 pounds and drop 10 or 20 pounds and it kept going up and down. Then once I got a little bit older at 26, I started competing. And that was probably when I reached my peak of my issues with food and my relationship with food. A lot of what I teach is a lot around emotional eating and binging. And that was it was the biggest struggle I've ever had. Or one of the biggest struggles I've ever had, because when you're so obsessed about food, it's the only thing you think about 24/7.
Competing in fitness or sports?
Bikini. So
Okay.
you see, so I only did the one show and I dropped down to 120 pounds. I was probably like 16% body fat or maybe even lower. And the minute I got off stage, I was planning on doing more shows, but I just started putting on more weight. And within 6 months, I went from 120 to 164, and I couldn't even control it anymore at that point. Like it was getting out of control. It was not the weight part was getting out of control, but I mean, I was so unhappy. And at that point I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing the starvation thing and then starving myself and then binging and then being at the gym like a lunatic for hours on end and then falling off for months on end, which is a lot like, the pattern with a lot of my clients. It's that inconsistency and that lack of balance.
Do you feel like that started happening after you did your first show? Is that what caused a lot of it?
No. It was leading up to it. And again, like it's not to knock that sport at all, but unfortunately I feel like when you embark on something like that with those types of sports, you need to have such a good head on your shoulder because you're being judged when you get on stage. Even I would say with like dancing or gymnastics, you're being judged for your ability, for your figure, especially with dancing. And I see so many young girls having the same issue because you're being judged by the way you look and your performance. And it feeds into that mentality of I'm not good enough. Food is the enemy. I need to, starving is good, eating is bad. And it's just such an unbalanced way to view your body and your life.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many people that struggle with this, and I think it's the physical and the mental part. So if anyone's watching, we've all struggled with our weight. Make sure you put yes in the comments. And if you have any questions about weight loss, definitely post them in the comment. And we'll try to address them after or at the end of the interview. So tell me a little bit about Haute Fitness Health. How did that start, and how did you get the business going?
Sure. I kind of just fell into it because after the competition, I ended up deciding that at that point I was not going to have that relationship with food anymore. And I just stopped doing everything. Actually, I stopped going to the gym because I couldn't even take it. Every time I go there, I was so miserable. And I stopped going to the gym. I stopped eating vegetables. I stopped eating everything. I just listened to my body and intuitively just intuitively listened to what I needed. And it took like 2 or 3 months. And then things just started happening. Like the weight, like I just started to want to go back to the gym, and I just started wanting to eat healthier. And the weight just slowly started falling off. And around that time, I decided to go get my personal training certification. So I got a job at a New York Sports Club, and I started training. And then I actually started dating somebody who is a professional bodybuilder. And he was actually one of, I want to say, like, he was one of the big reasons why I'm in the industry that I'm in now, because he was the one who showed me how hours of cardio was so unnecessary. And like, if anything, like cardio should be like minimal to none at all.
How long?
Well, I'm sorry?
How long for just an average woman?
It really depends.
Okay.
I start my clients with basically nothing.
Okay.
And I added on just sprinkling if their weight isn't budging. But weight training with intensity, like I'd say like interval weight training and food is the first thing that I always tweak. Most women actually end up having too high of a fat diet, I've noticed. I know our industry, it's like no low carbs, but it actually is the opposite. Most women eat way too much fat and not enough carbs. And if they'd reverse the two, they'd actually see the result that they want.
So the boyfriend at the time got you into this.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
I got sidetracked.
He taught you some of the interval training, the muscle building, which you suggest to other women and even men probably. You start with that and not really focus more on cardio. So you learned that you did it on your own. You did it for yourself first.
One who kept like pushing, and he was, don't stop with the cardio and start eating carbs. And I remember I was struggling because it's just so deeply ingrained that those two things are going to make you fat. And I was trying to lose weight at this point, but I was also trying to like do it the healthier way. So it was like this constant struggle between like, should I listen? Should I not listen? Should I listen? Should I not listen? But fast forward, and let's see, I started training, and then I started picking up, I just started talking about, I went to, Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And I started, after that was probably the biggest thing that changed me, because that school is all about a holistic approach. And it's just, it's absolutely fantastic. The amount of knowledge I learned there was just mind blowing. Just really showing you that everyone's body is so different, and it's just about balance and moderation and finding what works for you. And yes, there are certain things that will give you better results and kind of fast track your success, but ultimately like really getting in touch back with you. And so I took a lot of what I learned there. And then at this point I was working at a gym, and I started sharing my story with other women there. And I couldn't believe the amount of response that I was receiving about other women, telling me about their struggles and how they emotionally eat, how they are binging, how, they're going to the gym, but they're not seeing any success and any results. And at that point I started coaching.
So I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
So you went to the school, they kind of taught you the whole life, holistic approach, make it part of your lifestyle. Before that, you personally were doing probably diets, yo-yo diets, up and down, up and down.
I had done everything. Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Medifast, cleanses, everything. I've done everything.
So you're the living testimonial.
I'm sorry?
You're the living testimonial for that then.
Yeah, because you know what it was? Because the starving thing worked when I was 20. And, that's what I want to mention. Like, yeah, the starving thing worked when I was 20. When you're 18, 19, 20, you wake up, have a shake, go for a 3-mile run, come home, eat a salad, and then, have a bunch of cocktails at night. And like, you can maintain your weight at 115 or whatever it is you want to be. But what kept happening is I noticed my weight was creeping up. And every summer when I tried doing this starvation diet or whatever, my usual tricks, quote unquote, it wasn't working. And the closer I was getting to 30, the harder it was getting to, first of all, even find any interest in wanting to starve myself. Like, I was like, I'm over this. Like, I want to be able to maintain my weight, love how I look every single day, and be able to eat the foods I want and have a social life and like have that whole balance. So yeah.
Well, that's incredible. So you lived it, you've done it. So then you learned from it, went to school for it. you started working with women just by telling them the results you had?
Yeah, that's how it started. And the first time that I had sign on, we did coaching. You know, I've tweaked a lot since then, but yeah, we used to meet every other week, and it was just, yeah, it was amazing. It was really, coaching is really about getting people to, I want to say realize what's right in front of them. But I mean, obviously I'm giving them the tools and what to get fast track them to their success. But ultimately everyone has the answer. But unfortunately people are just so stressed and so in their own crap, for lack of a better word. It's getting them out of it and getting them to see their potential and getting them to see like how easy it really is when you just, like, it takes a little bit of a push in the beginning, but after that, once it's part of your lifestyle and you really fall in love with it and you really fall in love with your body, and who you are as a person, and you treat it like the temple that it is, that's when it's not like, oh, I have to go to the gym again, or, oh, I have to eat vegetables. Like, you want to do those things. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, donut doesn't taste good. Like, yeah, it tastes great. But I don't wake up every morning being like, oh, I really want a donut. I really want a bagel. I really want pizza. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind. And when it does, I go get it. Like, I don't skip a beat. It's no, so.
Right. Okay. So a lady hears your story, or, anyone hears your story, they get motivated by it and they reach out to you. What's that first thing you have them do? What's the first step that they should take to get past those barriers that they might have in their head?
Like, if we're working together, or?
Yep. If they want to start working with you, what's that first step that you need to take just to get started?
Sure. Well, with my private coaching, actually, the minute they sign on, and even, I even addressed this in a lot of my challenges and like my free opt-ins and everything. The first thing that someone needs to do is really get into, first of all, they need to realize that there's even a problem. So obviously if they're coming to me, they realize that there is a problem and that they've been struggling with it, usually for a decade at least. I mean, I work with women of all ages, but I have most of the women, are in their 40s or, 30s, 40s, 50s. So they've been doing it a while. And I really so they acknowledge that there's a problem. And then I like them to start taking it a step further. Like, before you go and binge, or before you go and sit down and have an entire cake and a loaf of bread and a bottle of wine and 5 cupcakes and whatever else, tell your, what's going on? Like, what are you, there's this other woman, Cynthia Pasquale, I just love her stuff, but she says, what are you really hungry for? And I don't know how else to say it, but it's really true, because when there's something, when you're upset or you're stressed or you're angry or you just had a fight with your husband, your kids are driving you insane or whatever, it's the easier thing to do. And we're programmed to go grab something to eat because it's giving that, initial satisfaction, that dopamine serotonin response.
It's emotional also.
Yeah, definitely. But the thing is, with an emotional eater, 9 times out of 10, while you're stuffing your face, you're then also bashing yourself, calling yourself fat and disgusting, kind of sloppy, and you're ashamed of what you're doing. So if you can stop yourself from having that binge, like every time you stop yourself from having that next binge or eating emotionally and not truly enjoying your food, you're getting one step closer to your results, and it's going to get one step easier. But then let's just say, for argument's sake, you do, instead of sitting there and beating yourself up, stopping long enough to say, okay, well, what was going on with me in that particular situation? It was an isolated incident. How can I protect this from happening again, and moving forward, and not continuing to binge for hours on end, but stopping and being like, okay, it happened. I'm going to, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to be soft and easy with myself and not sit here and beat myself up, but just, okay, what can I do? Let's move forward. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is don't get stuck in that hole, because then that can last you for weeks or months.
So when you start coaching somebody and, really helping them out with their goals and their needs, you're basically taking over the whole thing. You're going to help them mentally, physically, with their workouts, with their nutrition. Yeah. So just having the support, I think, really helps a lot of people out.
Well, yeah, the private coaching is all encompassing. It does everything. It's the nutrition, the fitness, and you're speaking to me weekly. I set it up like that because I was thinking to myself, like, what would I want back when I was dealing with my struggling, and I needed a support system. And to be honest with you, I looked far and wide. There is nothing. There's a lot of emotional eating coaches out there who I feel like everything is covered, but it's not all together. Like there's a lot of emotional eating coaches who are all about self-love, and not that I'm not about self-love, but then they're also saying, you know, you can love yourself at any size and any weight, which you should, and you need to in order to make progress. But the thing is from a health standpoint alone, you know, you need to have a specific, you know, BMI range and everything. So from just a health standpoint, you want to obviously be in, you know, in shape. But then
you need a health goal also. Then you need goals. You need goals to meet also. Then.
Yeah, and you know the other thing too, like for me, when I didn't want to just get over my emotional eating. I wanted to get over my emotional eating and have a freaking body I was obsessed with. So, but I also didn't want to live in a gym, and I also didn't want to eat nothing but tilapia and asparagus for the rest of my life. So it was finding that balance. Because I noticed the other end of that, it's like you have the self-love coaches, and then the other end of that is that you have all the coaches that are, you know, you can't eat anything but 5 almonds and tilapia and
Right.
grilled crust. And it's like, what kind of a life is that to live? That just sounds awful. So it was really like mixing those two worlds together and saying, yes, I love yourself right now. Like, and if that seems like the most impossible thing to possibly do, pick one part of your body, your face, your anything physically that you are like, you know what? I really like that about myself. And then start like expanding outward.
Yeah.
But because that's what's going to move you to keeping your consistent patterns. It's not sitting there and beating yourself up. It's that love for yourself to want to do something better.
I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool how you help them, you know, in every aspect. And then even speaking with them once a week, I think is huge. Getting that emotional support from you. Can you tell me my favorite question? You probably have more than one, and it's hard to choose one testimonial that you might be able to share with me. You know, I'm sure that you've helped so many people out, and it doesn't have to be the best testimonial, just one that sticks out to you right now.
Yes, I got an email one day from a client. We're actually still working together. We've been doing a year. I think this will be the last time, and then she's done. But when she originally started with me, I will never forget this. She sat across from me and she goes, I've tried everything else. I don't know if this is going to work, but whatever, we'll give it a shot. And if you knew her, she has like the dry sense of humor. And I was like, okay, way to have faith, but okay. Anyway, fast forward a year later, she's lost 70 something pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, she ended up emailing me, telling me, this is like a month or two back. She goes, by the way, I just want to let you know that I'm past my pre-wedding weight. So she's like 50, I want to say. So she passed that. She's down to like 135 now. But the best testimony I ever got from her was when she emailed me and she goes, my Spanx aren't even like my Spanx are now loose on me. Like my Spanx don't even spank anymore. I forgot how she worded it, but it was hysterical. I was like,
you can't even wear them anymore.
What?
You can't even wear them anymore.
She couldn't even wear them anymore because they were too loose. And I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, what a great testimonial seeing somebody, and she probably just didn't lose the 70 pounds. You probably gave her motivation, confidence,
yeah.
her, you know, mentally and physically, which is, you know, the all around package, the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she was telling me this. She's like, I just love how I look. Like randomly she'll message me and she's like, I'm just so happy with how I look. She's like, I don't ever want to go back to feeling like that. And it's so cool to know that like I'm a part of that. And I love my job.
Yeah, that's awesome. It makes you work even harder seeing those results.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, when I have a client come to the table, and I mean, I have another client that's starting in a month from now because she had some traveling, but I already started giving her tools and tips and things to do so that when we start, like we have a running start. And the other day she messaged me and she was just like, I have so many realizations. She's like, I didn't even realize, you know, I was doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's so much more fun when my clients come to me, you know, super excited and ready to make that change and ready to make that transformation. It just makes my job like so much more fun.
Oh yeah, they're already motivated, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Haute Fitness Health. You can work remotely over Skype, and you mostly work with women for weight loss.
Yes, I've worked with some men, but mostly women.
Okay, and you know, mostly online. And you mentioned something maybe face to face.
Yes, I'm actually putting together a lot of events. So okay. If anyone would like me to come either to their office, or I'm going to be doing these ladies' nights where we're getting anywhere from 10 to 20 women. So I'm happy to travel. But that's where I'd actually come to you and do an entire, help you break down your macronutrients and your calories. And it's just like a really fun women's night where you get like some of your BFFs and just have just a great time for like 2 hours. So I have that in the works right now. And
what city? What city?
Anywhere. I'm traveling. So
okay, perfect.
I mean, I'm in New Jersey, so obviously New Jersey, New York is a definite. But if people are looking for me to travel, I'm happy to do that as well. So it's a mix of the Skype and then also face-to-face. So it's nice. Okay,
awesome. And then I posted your Facebook page and your website. Is that the best way to get a hold of you if somebody's interested in starting to work together?
Yeah, definitely. And I actually, if you're a woman and you'd like to join, I have a Facebook group exclusively for women called Haute Fitness Club. I can give you the link for that as well. I'm going to be starting a challenge April 10th. That lasts for 21 days. That encompasses everything, your body, mind, and soul. So if anyone's looking to drop some weight, come join. It's totally free.
Okay, awesome. So we'll link the Facebook group. I think the Facebook group is probably going to be the most important thing for somebody to get started with you. They can see the community, get to know you, and start working with you. So I'll post that in there. And anyone watching, please try to join the group. If it's a free group, get you started, and then you can get to know a little bit more about you. And I think it's a good way to get started from there.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for doing the interview. I appreciate it. And you guys check out Haute Fitness Health.
Bye.
Bye.